What's up, everybody? My name is Travis and this is No Garage. Essentially what it is a culmination of a bunch of projects that I have lying around that I'm going to finally get around to finish. The first one being is going to be my E36. Essentially it's got a blown head gasket and a few other miscellaneous issues that need to be taken care of, but that is going to be first on the list. However, there will be things like mini trucks, scooters, fabrication work, who knows, BMX riding, other little random tidbits of shit. But it's going to be starting today, like I said, with my E36, so let's take a look at it. Alright, so this is my E36. As you can see, it has definitely seen better days. However, that is why I'm here and starting this, so I can get this finished and essentially ready to shred with all of my friends who actually finish their cars. A little bit of a rundown. It is a 328 IS 1999, sitting on some cheap coilovers, mixed matched actually, which I'll show you. It has been in an accident, as you can see right here. One of the glass headlights is just shattered, along with a mixed match hood. The facelift and the driver fender are just smashed. I'll get into what happened essentially a little bit later, but for now it's just going to be a little bit of a walk around. But like I said, we've got the glass headlights, we've got little custom hood vent, E36 wheels, M3 mirrors, two-door. Right now it is on the charger, so we can get it moved so we can get it started. The exhaust at the moment is just a muffler delete, but we're going to be doing a little bit more to it. Take a look inside. It's a little bit messy. The dash is gone. Doing a little bit of under dash work, but we do have a Sparco rev bolted down to a custom little floor mount. Interior was already half gutted when I got it, so we're just going to finish it up. Moving the heater box and all of the unnecessary wiring underneath the dash, as well as all throughout the car. We'll get to the sound deadening and all that, like dry ice and whatnot, but that'll be for a different day. As far as engine goes, this particular one is a blown M52. Blown meaning blown head gasket. I wish it was supercharged. Stock for the most part, still has the M52 intake. It did have the a short ram made by me, but took it out because it wasn't quite the exact thing that I was looking for. It is an automatic right now, so we are going to be switching that up. Essentially, the only little things that it has done to it right now are the Mishimoto radiator and then the straight pipe exhaust. Well, for the most part, straight pipe exhaust. It still has resonators and cats. There's a little short ram intake, like I said, that was made for it. What's going in here is going to be another M52. However, it'll have the M50 intake manifold, as well as a few other deletes like the heater core delete, the SAP delete, the electronic stability control delete. Essentially just making it to where it's just the engine sitting in here, as well as a manual 5-speed ZF transmission linked up to the automatic diff because we're going to get rowdy. Alright, so like I said earlier, it is hooked up to a trickle charger. Essentially we're charging the battery so we can move it. We're going to be doing one thing today, and that's going to be removing the exhaust system from the header's back, header back. We're going to be doing this for two reasons. One, in preparation of the 5-speed spot. It does have to come off in order to gain access to the transmission. But two, we're also going to be adding in an X pipe for the catalytic converters and removing the resonators from beyond that. So it will be a true straight pipe aside from the catalytic converters, which personally I do like keeping, not for emissions purposes, but just for that safe little resistance, really, just to kind of help out with the exhaust pulses. which is another reason why we're doing the X pipe. But we're gonna get the key real quick, and then I'm gonna move it to a workable spot somewhere inside of the shade, because it is Texas here, and even though it's only 9 a.m., it is already hot enough to start sweating. So we're gonna get going on that. Alright, so the exhaust is ready to come down. Essentially, there are 6 bolts up front that hold the 2 individual pipes to the manifold themselves. Then there is a little middle brace, or a little middle hanger rather, that holds the exhaust in place right around the catalytic converter area. And then there's one at the very end that holds what would be the muffler. In this case, it's just straight pipe, but it's a clamp style that holds on the muffler. 2 things that you need to take note of is, one, there is a cross member on the front of the car, essentially right where the manifold exits into the mid pipe. The cross member does need to come down in order to get enough room to drop the exhaust down. And 2, don't be like me. Remember to take the O2 sensor, at least harnesses off, so you don't just like yank them out. When this goes back in, I got to make sure that those are working properly, because I completely forgot about them and just sort of pulled them off, and the plugs sort of, thankfully they pulled apart at the plug, but we'll see, make sure that everything works. So let's get this bad boy out. Alright, and just like that, we have the full exhaust system completely taken apart. Right now I do have to get ready for work, but glad I was able to get this done, because that is one step to the 5-speed swap and a step to getting this thing complete. So yeah, let's set this aside and then we should be good to go. What's up, everybody? Back at it at the E36 today. Got a little bit more time to do a little bit more of the teardown. So the first thing that we're going to do isn't actually tearing it down. We're going to, or at least I'm going to pull this guy over to the driveway so I could rinse it off, get all the dirt off of it. As you can see, it is just covered in dried up mud and dust and everything else that shouldn't be on a car. So I'm going to get that cleaned up, and then I have a few things that I'm going to do to it. Essentially, in preparation of the swap, I'm going to start tearing down the front. So get the headlights off, the busted ass nose panel. I'm going to leave the radiator on just because right now it's not even supported by anything, so I think it should be fine without the radiator support. I'm going to see if it's possible that I can swap out the fender, because I do have that. I got to figure out what it's going to take to get the side skirt off, because that does need to come off, and possibly even swapping over the clutch pedal, like the pedal assembly. The dash is already off. Half of the stuff is already disassembled out of there, so it should be a pretty easy switch. Just getting the master connected to it. So let's get this moved, cleaned up, and then we'll move it back over here, flip it around essentially, and get going. So running into not really a problem, just a little nuisance. So I got the side skirt at least detached from the area that I'm trying to work at. Next I'm going to take the ones out of the door and then up top, and this thing should just be able to come off. The one thing that I didn't know was that apparently they put the fenders on and everything else on, and then undercoat the entire thing all the way up to the sides, essentially right underneath the side skirt. So I've got everything out. The 2 bolts down here, it is just like there's this glue that went all the way across the bottom of it, and it won't separate here. Looking at it now, I can see that the same guy that I got this from had the same issue. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the other fenders off, or other bolts off the fender, and then just see if I can wiggle it loose, because it's underneath there with like a flat head and a hammer, and still couldn't get it to come loose. So we'll see what we can do. I got the old fender off, and the new fender sort of like just set in place. There's no bolts in it, but just wanted to show the fitment of it, considering that the front end was hit right at this corner. All the bolt holes seem to line up pretty okay. I haven't closed the door yet. I kind of want to get a couple bolts in, but everything seems to line up just fine. I will say one thing, whichever German engineer that decided to use rubberized glue to adhere things to the chassis like the fender, I really hope that you're doing well at your new job, because you should have been let go for that one. The 12 bolts that held this in did perfectly fine and could have done without that glue. But it's in. The color seems to be pretty okay. Can definitely see a color difference. Well, I don't know if you can see it on camera. Yeah, you can. There's a bit of a color difference, but it'll work. Nothing's bent on it, so let's finish this guy up. Good news, it's starting to look like a car again. Gotta still put the 2 bolts underneath the chassis where the glue was, and then stick the one push pin that held the front of the side skirt down. And I mean, like, aside from the broken glass headlight and the nose piece, I mean, it works. Obviously I want it all one color again, and looking at it, I do see that the trim on the side's got to be fixed, but going to get this started up and turned around. I'm going to back it into the on the side of the house so it's in the shade, so I can tear down the front, get that all off, and then possibly do the clutch pedal. I did just want to point out a just key way to tell that you have some sort of bad head gasket. This is a pretty bad degree of just how much coolant is getting into the cylinders. I just started it up. All of this is coolant that just sprayed out of the actual header. That is how bad that this head gasket is. So thankfully I've got a whole new motor and I don't even have to worry about that, but that's fucking hilarious. I'm going to call it today. Got the new fender on, got the hood torn, or the front end torn off. I didn't get to the clutch pedal. It is getting somewhat late. Well, not really. I just haven't eaten yet today, and I would like to do that. But tomorrow morning before work, I will get in there and swap that out. And then hopefully next week I can get the swap taken care of. Essentially, pull this motor and transmission out, get what I need off of this guy, throw the new setup in, and then hopefully early August I'll be able to daily this and also thrash it. So I think I'm going to call it a day for today. It's not going to be the end of the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then once I get the clutch pedal in there, I think that'll be the final bit for the teardown aspect of this, and then we can do the swap and then the building of it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright, so I know I told you guys yesterday that I was going to be doing like the clutch pedal switch. I did a little research and found out I've got to do a few more things before I can get to that point. So instead of just like dropping it off there, I kind of came out here today to do a little bit of something. Essentially just got a little bit more of the carpet out, a little bit more of the wiring out, and then got some of the dash stuff out, so I can get the heater box out. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for right now. I am out of like card space until I can get all this onto a computer and upload it. So I think that's going to be it for right now. It kind of sucks that that's about it, but it happens. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time.